What is in a living trust? So we get the question is, what is a trust? Is it revocable? Is it irrevocable? How is it different in the will? We've actually answered some of those in other videos that we have. But in this one, we're going to specifically talk about some of the common elements inside of a living trust. Remember, when we say living trust, that means something that is revocable, like a revocable living trust. Could be called a family trust, living trust, revocable trust. But revocable and amendable, meaning you can make changes during your lifetime while you're alive and with capacity. What that document typically says, it's got a title. You can name it whatever you want. It could be the Sample Living Trust, the Boston Living Trust, the Flintstones Cartoon Living Trust, whatever you want to call it. And then it's going to recite who's making the trust. Those are typically called the trustors or the grantors. So let's call it John Sample and Jane Sample. And who's going to be the current trustee. Typically that's going to be the same person or people. So call it John Sample and Jane Sample. It's going to recite who their children are, if they have children. If they have children of a different marriage, it'll say here John's children from a prior relationship. Here, Jane's children from a prior relationship. Here, John and Jane's children together. These are the names and typically the address and phone number of the backup trustees, so that when something happens, whether that be incapacity or death, here's the people who have the opportunity to be able to make decisions for the trust and control it as the new trustee. Then you've got definitional stuff. What is per stirpes? What is issue? Different things like that. Then you'll have a recital stating whether it's revocable or not. And for a revocable living trust, guess what it's going to say? It's revocable and it's amendable, or something to that effect. You're going to have dispositive provisions, which are basically saying, here's what really happens when I pass away. And here's what really happens after we both pass away. Maybe when the first person passes away, it's a disclaimer trust. Maybe it's a Q-tip trust, maybe a Q-tip with the Clayton election. There's different types of tax planning strategies that we can put inside of there for people who may possibly be subject to estate taxes at some point, whether that be at a federal level or a state level. And then those dispositive provisions, you may say, I want $20,000 going to my cousin. I want my BMW bike to go to my brother-in-law. I want 25% to go to the Fred Flintstone Foundation, the Save Ferris Bueller Foundation. I want the rest going to my kids, equally distributed over these ages. So hope that helps you understand a little bit more. And then we typically do a pour-over will, which says if anything's not properly titled, it would hit the will, go to the court, and get poured over into the trust. I'm Mike Massey. I've helped over 1,000 families with estate planning, and I'd love to have a conversation with you. Click below to learn more, or simply look us up at Mike Massey Law. God bless.